Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am Anita Johnson Merchant, known as the Prayer Advocate. And what I do is I help educate, equip, and encourage those who do not have a prayer life, and then those who are struggling on how to establish and maintain a consistent prayer life. I am here today to share with you chapter 1 of my book, Trophy of Grace. You can look at a previous video where I've videoed telling you that for the month of August, I would be discussing my new book, Trophy of Grace. You can get it on Amazon, or you can message me if you would like a signed autograph copy, and I will give you the information on how to do that and get the book to you. Now, today I'm going to share with you about chapter 1. I did an opening of the book, kind of gave you a broad discussion of what the book is about. And now I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the book to give you an understanding of, first of all, why did I write the book? And then to give you an understanding of what the book is about, my perspective, and why I wrote it the way that I wrote it. So chapter 1 of Trophy of Grace is titled Suffering Will Come, Embrace It. For those of you don't know, and just to inform you, Trophy of Grace is a book about an encounter I had with the pandemic, the unknown COVID-19. And again, the name of the book is Trophy of Grace. I want to talk a little bit about chapter 1. Chapter 1, titled Suffering Will Come, Embrace It. It came about while I was healing with COVID-19. Instead of questioning and asking God the why, I asked God to help me to embrace the time. It's labeled suffering because that is exactly what it was. It was a suffering time in my life. Most people, when you hear the word suffering, you immediately think it's bad, it's evil, or that it's something that maybe you have done that's causing you to be able to be in that place of suffering. And it doesn't necessarily mean that. Sometimes you can be in a suffering season of your life where God is trying to either change something in you, get your attention, get you moving, enhance something in you. It could be a lot of reasons why you would have the suffering season, is what I call it. And so I titled it Suffering Will Come, Embrace It. The first paragraph is this: people tend to believe, especially Christians, because we serve the Lord, claim to be saved, go to church every Sunday, and with other things proclaim to honor God, we tend to question God when there is a time to suffer in our lives. The truth about grace is we are saved by grace through faith. And I'm talking about this to kind of give an introduction of the book, setting the tone and the place and the feel of why I've titled it Suffering, why I even titled the book Trophy of Grace. You see, in your suffering time, you are given grace from God. In your suffering time, you should embrace it instead of fighting it or complaining about it or just having a bad attitude about it. We should embrace it because we know anything of God is according to his word. He works all things out for our good, for those who love the Lord. And so in knowing this, when I was writing this book, I knew that even though I was in that suffering season of life, that God was going to work it out for my good. Did I sway a little with my faith? Yeah, I did. But because I was rooted, I had that solid foundation in my prayer life, I was able to embrace my suffering. I was able to go to God with my true feelings, with what I was feeling, what I was not understanding, not so much as complaining, but just trying to get a feel of why I was having this time in my life. We know COVID-19 was generated, it said, from touching things, from germs in the air, from other people, and a lot of list of other things as to why a person would have caught or encountered COVID-19. I consider myself a very clean person, very on top of my health and very on top of my body, just very on top of a lot of things. But yet that was not enough. It was just a time for me to have the suffering in my life. And so I came to the conclusion to embrace it. Now, throughout chapter 1, I talk about setting the tone for Trophy of Grace. I share with you about what suffering is and why you should embrace the suffering, and just about suffering and what I felt and dealt with while I was going through my healing process from COVID-19. In the book, there at the end of every chapter, I give a breathe moment because COVID-19 had a lot to do with your breathing, right? Our lungs, the capacity of how they would work and what would go on with them. And so at the end of every chapter, I write a breathe moment. This was a moment where I just stopped and I just took a deep breath and I just breathed. And the breathe moment at the end of chapter 1 says, God is with us every step of the way. He is willing to do whatever it takes. Just have faith. And so it was just as simple as that. While I was suffering, I embraced the suffering. I allowed my faith to really exemplify the faith that I had in God. So that was chapter 1, Trophy of Grace. I want to encourage you again to get the book. You can get it from Amazon, or if you would like to receive the book from me with an autograph, a signed copy, and I usually include some other little special gifts, you can send a message to me, and then I will send a message to you on how you can get the book and mail the book to you. You will truly be blessed. So I want to thank you for joining me for this tidbit from Trophy of Grace. Remember, you can get the book from Amazon, or you can get the book autographed, signed copy personally from me by sending me a message. I pray that this bless you, and that if you are right now in a suffering time, a suffering season in your life, embrace it and allow your faith to kick in like never before. Remember this: let nothing good or bad interrupt your consistent prayer life. Be blessed.